Hello, everyone. Welcome to our short webinar about our new book with University of Michigan Press titled Genre Explained. I'm Christine Tardy.
I'm Nigel Caplan.
And I'm Ann Jones.
And we are excited to share with you an overview of this little book. So first, you might be wondering, what is this book? The project started out for us as a kind of FAQ, or frequently asked questions about genre. We were inspired by our numerous conversations with teachers who just wanted to understand genre and genre-based teaching better, and we thought it would be helpful for teachers to have a relatively short, accessible resource that answered some of their questions. So the book is a little bit of a monograph detailing some academic and pedagogical concepts. It's a little bit of an FAQ, a little bit like an encyclopedia, and a little bit like an explainer, an accessible overview of a somewhat complex topic or set of topics in this case. In short, we've created a hybrid genre. As you can see from our table of contents, the book is organized around questions, the kinds of questions that we have both asked and been asked over the years. Hopefully, you'll recognize these questions as very teacher-oriented, as they all directly address genre-related topics from a teacher's perspective. These can include new teachers, pre-service teachers, such as graduate students, or experienced teachers who are just new to genre pedagogy. We focused our content specifically on the instructional context that we are most familiar with, which is teaching English L2 writing in U.S. higher education, including intensive English programs and early undergraduate programs. But we've also tried to consider other related contexts where appropriate. You may also note that this is not a linear book. We don't expect you to start from the first page and read to the end. Our hope is that you can dip in and out of the book, referring to questions that are most relevant for you when you need them. And you can also see that we've cross-referenced sections of the book throughout, so that if you need more information about a concept or topic, you know where to go to get it.
Okay, we're going to give you now a sample of some of the questions and answers that we addressed in the book. And let's start with the most basic question. What are genres? Sometimes it feels as though in our field there are as many definitions of genre as there are pronunciations of the word. So let's tell you how we're going to define it. In Genre Explained, we've tried to highlight the key features of genre that are most relevant to teachers. And let's start by saying what genre is not. A genre isn't a text. You don't write a genre, you write in a genre. And that's important because a genre is not a single thing. It's an abstraction. It's a classification of texts. And these texts can vary within the genre. By text, by the way, we don't just mean a written text, but also a spoken, digital, or multimodal text. Genres are also different from modes. You've certainly seen modes before in writing textbooks, right? The compare-contrast essay, the argument essay, the descriptive paragraph, and so on. These are not genres in our opinion. They're rhetorical modes. That is a way of organizing information within a text. But genres are much more than simply modes. In fact, there really is no such thing as a compare-contrast essay or anything like that outside the very narrow context of a writing textbook or classroom. But there certainly are genres and texts within those genres where you might compare and contrast things. In other words, our focus in genre-based writing instruction is moving away from artificial pedagogical genres, the kind of things that are often assigned simply for the purpose of getting students to produce text, something which, let's face it, a computer can do now. Instead, we want to engage students in meaningful genre-based writing tasks. So if you're an ESL or an EFL or a multilingual learner teacher, or even if you mostly teach monolingual English speakers, you may be wondering where language fits into this. And the answer for us is everywhere. And that's because within any genre, writers make choices of grammar and vocabulary to fit their purpose, their audience, their context. And this is what we call register. From a practical standpoint, this means that when we teach through genre, we're also teaching writers to analyze language in context, to expand their linguistic range so that they can write in a growing repertoire of genres, and of course, to do so with increasing accuracy.
What is genre-based instruction? Teachers ask that frequently. And they ask, how can you apply an understanding of genre as a category of text to pedagogy? Because as instructors, we can't possibly introduce students to the many and sometimes varied assignments they may encounter in the college classroom or in their professional worlds. We instead focus genre-based classrooms on insisting students to become rhetorically flexible. That is, to analyze multiple texts in a genre as they prepare to produce their own texts in that same genre for a specific situation. This work, employing genre analysis, enables students to identify family resemblances among texts and to decide on how those resemblances should appear in the text from the genre that they are producing. And what is an effective writing assignment? Effective writing assignments combined with analysis of text often requires students to go beyond their comfort zones, beyond an essay or something like that, to more common texts in their worlds, which they may not have written yet, or they may have not have read. In one of our classes, for example, the students produce various types of summaries: informational, problem solution, argument, and perhaps an abstract. They also produce a report and a resume and a cover letter. Of course, both writing processes and completed texts are considered in a prompt. Their analyses of text during their writing processes, students identify components they found in the text that are assigned to write. For example, they think about audience and context. But those are two very difficult components, because generally in our classrooms and most classrooms, it's the teacher audience and the classroom context. So what do we do about that? We encourage students to bring prompts from other classrooms to be analyzed and considered as we work on the variety of prompts that appear in undergraduate education for the most part. Okay, so let's now ask and answer a question about assessment. Assessment in our writing classes involves the student's ability to effectively produce a text that follows the assignment based on one of the several genres they have been studying. Students and instructors look at the components of genre and say, what do these components mean in this particular text that I'm studying? After students completed the cycle of prompt analysis, genre analysis, drafting and revising their work, and discussing assessment, it's useful for students to reflect on their experiences. Reflection has become very important in terms of developing rhetorical flexibility in the classroom.
We hope that you now have a better understanding of what the book aims to do, what it covers, and how it might be useful for you. We want to end by encouraging you to think about how this resource might help you create pedagogical change in your own educational context. Perhaps you can read it or parts of it with colleagues in a reading group or teacher collaborative. Or perhaps you can create some professional development workshops based on it, introducing others to some of the ideas in the book. Maybe the book can offer some inspiration for your own curriculum revisions or the development of new assignments or teacher materials. As you collaborate with colleagues, you might also be interested in our other books at University of Michigan Press, including the student textbook Essential Actions for Academic Writing, Genre, What Every ESL/EFL Teacher Needs to Know, and the edited volume, Changing Practices in the L2 Writing Classroom, Moving Beyond the 5-Paragraph Essay. We hope that you'll find plenty of ways to use these books and Genre Explained, and that you'll find lots of pages in the book to add post-its or bookmarks to, or your own annotations and underlines. Thank you for watching.